abandoned places already carry an aura of decay and sadness, but when combined with real-life horrors, they become unforgettable nightmares etched into local lore, and three terrifying true stories stand out for how they turn forgotten buildings into living nightmares. First is the infamous case of the abandoned Pennhurst State School in Pennsylvania, once a sprawling institution meant to house the mentally ill, but later shut down due to abuse and overcrowding. A group of urban explorers in the early 2000s decided to sneak in during a cold October night, armed with flashlights and cameras, hoping to capture evidence of paranormal activity. The peeling paint and rusted wheelchairs already made the atmosphere suffocating, but as they ventured deeper into the decrepit medical ward, they began hearing faint footsteps behind them. Though no one else was inside, one of them, a skeptic, laughed it off until a heavy metal door slammed shut on its own with a deafening clang. Trapping them in darkness, panic set in as the temperature dropped unnaturally, their flashlights flickering, and one of them swore they heard a whisper directly in their ear saying, "Get out now." When they finally forced the door open and fled, reviewing their video later revealed a shadowy figure darting across the hall that none of them saw in the moment, confirming the rumors that the suffering of patients had left an imprint of torment within those walls. The second story revolves around Hashima Island, Japan, also known as Battleship Island, once a bustling coal mining facility, but abandoned in the 1970s, now a decaying husk surrounded by the sea. In 2009, a film crew was granted permission to shoot a documentary there, but one cameraman wandered off to get atmospheric shots inside one of the residential blocks. As rain began to fall and the wind howled through broken windows, he felt uneasy, describing later how the silence seemed too heavy, broken only by the sound of dripping water. Then he captured footage of what he thought was another crew member in a hallway, a shadowy childlike figure standing still, but when he called out, there was no answer and the figure slipped behind a corner chasing after it. He found only a dead-end walls crumbling. No way anyone could have gone further shaken. He returned to the group and didn't mention it until the footage was reviewed back at the studio, clearly showing a small form peeking from behind a wall and then vanishing. Locals later told them stories of child laborers who died in accidents during the coal mining days, and some say their restless spirits still roam the ruins, trapped between the crashing waves and the decaying concrete. The third story takes us to the abandoned Linda Vista Community Hospital in Los Angeles. Shut down in the 1990s after being plagued by lawsuits and accusations of negligence, its dark history tied to countless deaths in its emergency rooms, and though it later became a popular filming location, security guards and film crews reported terrifying encounters. One guard recounted in 2013 that during his patrol he heard the distinct sound of gurney wheels squeaking down the hallway, but when he turned the corner the hall was empty, and seconds later he felt a cold hand grip his wrist, though no one was there. Another night he swore he saw a nurse in full vintage uniform glide past the nurse's station only to vanish into the wall. Terrifying him so badly he quit the job the next day. Filmmakers too reported sudden malfunctions, with cameras draining battery life within minutes and actors refusing to step into the surgical ward. After hearing moans echoing through the darkness, many believe the pain and trauma that occurred inside Linda Vista seeped into the very walls, creating a hotbed of residual hauntings where the cries of the sick and neglected patients echo long after the building was closed. Taken together, these three true abandoned places horror stories, Pennhurst's cruel legacy manifesting in whispers and shadows, Hashima Island's ghostly child watching through crumbling corridors, and Linda Vista's haunted halls replaying tragedies of medical neglect, remind us that abandonment does not erase the suffering endured inside these walls. Instead, it leaves behind echoes, memories, and sometimes restless presences that refuse to leave, making each step into such forgotten places not just a journey through history, but a confrontation with the horrors that time failed to bury.